In the shadows of history, 10 souls await, each a beacon of power, mystery, and legacy. From the sands of Egypt to the halls of science, from the battlefield to the prison cell, their stories intertwine, shaping our world. Prepare to journey through time. Witness the echoes of greatness. This is not just history, it's a legacy reborn. Welcome to the Saga of Legends. Marquis de Sade, a name whispered like a forbidden spell. Born into nobility, he had everything, yet desired the one thing society feared most: absolute freedom of the human mind and body. In the dungeons of his desires, he wrote with blood and ink, unraveling the darkest chambers of human lust, pain, and power. He was imprisoned, exiled, condemned, not just by kings and courts, but by time itself. But was he truly a monster, or simply a mirror? His words, banned and burned, refused to die. They returned, more alive than ever, igniting debates, fantasies, and fears. The term sadism was born from his legacy, a shadow clinging to civilization's polished surface. And as you hear his name, you feel it. The chill, the pull, the fascination. Because deep down, a voice asks, what if Sade didn't corrupt us, but revealed us? Tutankhamun, the boy king. Dead at 19, yet more alive today than in his own time. His reign was brief, his power limited, or so we thought. Until 1922, when a single step into his tomb awakened a storm of mystery. The world froze. Gold shimmered in torchlight, and the myth of the cursed pharaoh was born. Scientists collapsed, explorers vanished. Whispers of a vengeance from beyond the grave echoed in museum halls. But beyond the thrill of the curse was a child, hidden in layers of ritual, loneliness, and eternal expectations. He was a puppet of priests, a god among mortals, a prisoner of divinity. And yet, his silence shook the world. Even now, his gaze pierces time. You wonder, is he watching you? And, more importantly, why? Isaac Newton. The name feels heavy, as if the earth itself bends toward it. The man who saw the invisible, who translated the universe into law. But behind the formulas was a ghost. Solitary, obsessed, haunted by visions of apocalypse and alchemy. While others slept, Newton stared into candlelight, decoding secrets from ancient scrolls and falling apples. He believed he was chosen, by God, by fate, to reveal the machinery of the cosmos, and he did. Motion, gravity, light, but he paid a price. Isolation, madness, a brain forever spinning faster than the world it measured. Was he a genius or a prophet? He gave us science, yes, but also a strange whisper. The deeper you look into reality, the less real it becomes. And in that whisper, Newton still speaks. Nelson Mandela, the prisoner who became a president, the man whose silence thundered louder than guns. For 27 years he sat in a cell no wider than a grave, breaking rocks, but not his spirit. They called him a terrorist. Then they called him a savior. But what never changed was his unshakable belief that love is stronger than fear and forgiveness deeper than pain. When he walked free, the world held its breath. He didn't seek revenge. He offered a hand to the very people who locked him away. That's not just strength, that's transcendence. His eyes had seen the worst, yet chose hope. He turned a broken country into a miracle of unity. And as his voice echoed across continents, a question remains. Could you have forgiven the way he did? Vlad the Impaler. The name drips with dread. A prince, a warrior, a monster, depending on who tells the tale. To some, he was a demon who drank blood. To others, a national hero who bled so his people wouldn't. He impaled thousands, forests of bodies, twitching in agony. But behind the horror was a purpose, to terrify enemies into retreat. It worked. The Ottomans trembled. Even their horses refused to cross his lands. And yet, the man vanished without a trace. No body, no grave, just stories, whispers, and a legend that would birth Dracula himself. When the moon is full and the night grows cold, ask yourself, was he a villain, or simply what the world needed to fear? Napoleon III. He lived in the shadow of an emperor and tried to become one. Exiled, forgotten, then returned. Not as a general, but as a president. Then an emperor again. He ruled with dreams of greatness, but history had other plans. His vision reshaped Paris, made France shine, until war shattered everything. Defeat, captivity, exile, again. But this time, there was no comeback. He was haunted by legacy, obsessed with destiny, and forever compared to a ghost wearing his uncle's hat. He wasn't Napoleon the Great. He was Napoleon the Lost. And maybe that's what makes him human. Not the glory, but the failure, the struggle, the mirror we all fear to look into. Muhammad Ali. He floated like a butterfly, stung like a bee, and roared like a god. He wasn't just the greatest boxer. He was a force, unstoppable, magnetic, divine. He changed his name, refused to fight in Vietnam, faced prison, faced hatred, and still he never flinched. I am the greatest, he said, and the world believed him, because he made them. But behind the bravado was a poet, a rebel, a man fighting not just opponents in the ring, but the system outside it. Parkinson's slowed his body, but never his soul. He lit the Olympic flame with shaking hands, and lit hearts with eternal fire. Ali didn't just win fights, he won minds. He became a legend, because legends, like him, never fall, they rise. Thomas Edison, the wizard of Menlo Park, the man who turned darkness into light, literally. Over 1,000 inventions, 1,000 failures, but he never stopped. His lab burned down. He smiled. Now we can start fresh, he said. That was Edison. Part inventor, part showman, part myth. He gave us the light bulb, the phonograph, even motion pictures. But in the shadows, controversy. Accused of stealing, battling Tesla in the war of currents. Was he a genius, a thief, or simply a man who refused to sleep while the world was dark? Either way, when you flip a switch tonight, remember, that light may carry echoes of his madness and his brilliance. Fidel Castro. With a cigar in one hand and revolution in the other, he defied an empire. A law student turned warrior, a man who lived in the jungle, whispered through radios, and toppled a dictator. But once in power, the dream twisted. Education soared, but so did fear. Freedom shrank. Enemies vanished. He outlived presidents, survived assassins, and turned a tiny island into the eye of a Cold War hurricane. Was he a liberator? A tyrant? Maybe both. Maybe neither. What's certain is this: the world couldn't look away. Even now, when you hear his name, you feel the smoke, the fire, and the tension of a man who reshaped the map through sheer will. William Wallace, a name carved in freedom, a man of myth and flesh who stood when others knelt. Scotland was bleeding under foreign chains, but Wallace, he roared, not with speeches, but with swords. He was a farmer, a rebel, a ghost in the mist. The English called him a savage. The Scots called him hope. He fought not for a crown, but for a voice. And when they captured him, tortured him, tore him apart, he didn't break. His final word, freedom, shook empires. Today, his face is legend. His cry echoes in every soul longing to be free. Wallace didn't live long, but he lived loud. And that echo, it never dies. Their footsteps fade, but their impact remains. As the pages turn, new stories await. Will you be the next to shape history? The torch is passed, the journey continues. Embrace the legacy, become the legend. Your story is waiting to be told. Join the ranks of the timeless. Let your voice echo through eternity. The saga continues with you. This is where history listens back.